Sorry to bug you. Buzz Buzz. Have you heard the good one of that word? Wow.
And I'm one of your hosts, Chris Benning.
And I'm Kevin. I don't think. Remember when? That's a throwback. Remember when I used to botch the intro every week?
Yes.
I could not remember what to say.
Yeah.
Welcome to HowDoWeHuman, the podcast where we overanalyze all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. And I am one of your hosts, Evan Cox.
And I am one of your co-hosts, Chris Benning.
Whew. We're talking about bugs again. I hope you didn't swat away that last episode from your feed because you were afraid, because there's more.
There's more. Can you believe it?
And sincerely, we hate to bug you, Buzz Buzz.
Buzz.
But I do want to bug you.
Yeah, you forgot you had two cameras up.
Chris! I do need a second camera. How you
between
doing?
Angles. Yeah, I'm doing all right. A little follow-up from the last episode. I think I talked about how we were trying to find a wedding coordinator, and
yes,
that one guy didn't respond. Turns out, late, I texted you this, so you already know, but he was supposed to call me on July 3rd. Okay, never called. And then July 5th, he calls and is like, come on, I'm calling for our appointment. And so, we had the general idea was like, well, he can't get his calendar straight, so we'll go with the other coordinator that reached out. And that coordinator was supposed to call me on July 6th. Never called. So neither one of them.
These are thoroughly uncoordinated.
Great with the calendar.
Which it's like, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt of of course they would at least remember the wedding day, right? That's the thing.
Right.
It's like, nah, that's not okay. That's not okay. You don't go to a restaurant and order something and then be like, okay, it's just gonna be the second because the last time the cook made that, it killed someone. Maybe I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's but I have a different story to tell. My mom, my fiance, and I were in Evan's old stomping grounds, Long Beach, California.
Hey. It's like Elma.
No, not that old of stomping grounds.
Damn. That's exciting.
We're walking along that beach path. And we get all the way to the end, and then we got to turn around. But there's a little sign over there that's like, here are different animals that live in this part of the ocean or whatever. And so we're like, well, let's see what they got. And so we're going through it. And then this guy runs up behind us and is like, sorry, excuse me, sorry. Just got to touch it. And he puts his hand forward, touches the sign, and then goes back. So it's like, it's one of those joggers who's like, I need this to mark that I've completed my loop. But fucking just turn around. You know what I mean? You went the distance.
You did it.
Fucking
congrats.
Sneak in here and touch the sign we're all looking at. Make us all move.
This was a family moment.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I'm so sorry you had to experience that.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
People are nuts.
What do you remember which beach, which area you were at? Belmont Shores or what's the one I lived next to? It starts with an A.
I don't know. It's whichever one has the shopping center and the aquarium and all that stuff over there.
That's the stuff. That's I can't remember.
That's the one
I can't remember what it's called, but it's right down from downtown.
Yeah.
Between downtown and where I used to live. Good shit. I used
Evan,
that was not the because we always wait a second. We always talk about how I never go to the movies anymore. It's probably because I got spoiled at that Cinemark right there. Because every Tuesday they do their discount screenings, and they've got the big comfy seats, so you get the best of both. Like, where do you get the big comfy seats and like a $5 movie?
Doesn't happen.
Long Beach. That's it. It was awesome. So I would see a movie every week. And then now I see a movie every 3 years.
Man, should we move to Long Beach?
Honestly, Jocelyn and I are talking about it right now.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit.
Yeah. Long Beach rules. It's great.
Evan,
yeah.
I want to know how you doing.
Now I'm doing fine. I'm going to clear my throat. Now I'm doing fine.
Got it.
You may have heard, and I hope you have. Otherwise, you haven't been paying attention. I've been having an issue.
Will Barbie and Oppenheimer come out on the same day?
We already talked about this. If anyone wanted to keep track, Chris and I are both sick of that joke. If you're keeping track at home,
there's like fucking T-shirts and shit. Like,
are there T-shirts?
Yes. For Barbenheimer.
This is why we need to make T-shirts. We need to balance out this.
Like, even like by September.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to wear that fucking shirt? You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
no, you're never going to wear it again.
Anyway,
Maybe.
How you doing?
I don't know. Barbie 2 and Oppenheimer 2.
I hope they both
Oppenheimer
have sequels.
2. Yeah,
I hope they both have to get greenlit at the same time.
Well, the aftermath from Oppenheimer. I'm not sure at what point it ends. When does Oppenheimer end, you know? There might be a part 2.
And I know that, like, Christopher Nolan would never go for this in a million years. But what if it, like, how exciting would it be? This would make all the memes worth it, right?
Okay.
How exciting would it be if at the end of both movies, like, it's revealed that they're a crossover? So, like, at the end of Oppenheimer, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling show up. And at the end of Barbie, Cillian Murphy shows up. And they're each in their characters from their different movies.
I thought you were going to suggest that the real ending to Barbie is tragic and traumatic.
No, that doesn't seem as fun to me.
No.
I'd rather ruin the ending of Oppenheimer than the ending of Barbie.
See, this is where we part. This is our differences. Also, I don't know that throwing in Barbie would ruin the ending of Oppenheimer.
I hope it's in one of the black and white scenes with Robert Downey Jr., but she's still in like vibrant pink.
I'm doing fine. You may have heard. I've injured my thumb.
Oh, yes, I've heard this.
You've heard a lot about it. I complain about it a lot. And I keep getting different advice from different people.
You know, sometimes, you know, because you'll have the thing on your wrist or on your hands too. And we'll record and like talk for like 2 hours, right?
Yeah. And
then it's not until you post the Instagram clip that I'm like, oh, Evan had that thing on his hand the whole time. So, like, did he CGI that on in post?
Yeah, for sympathy. Fuck, I forgot to wear it. I generally don't wear it when we record. I don't know why I did that time. Because I'm not really doing anything with my hand. Except gesturing wildly. Anyways. The last time I went to my chiropractor, because I've got physical therapist saying one thing, chiropractor saying another thing, and my neighbor up the road telling me to do some experimental nonsense. My chiropractor threw out, I think maybe I mentioned this, that it might not in fact be the wrist, which is what they thought, and it might be like the joint of the thumb. He suggested getting an MRI. I did. $750 later. That is at my place where my insurance is. It's still $750. I'm
Nice.
very sad about that. Have you ever had an MRI?
No.
I had one before for my innards when I had problems with that early in the podcast. And that was uncomfortable. It sucks. You're in a machine. It's like super tight around you. You get super claustrophobic, but you can't move. You're told don't move and don't breathe, and you're going to be there for like, a long time. I was there. It was like 5 or 10 minutes the first time I did it. So this time, it's just my hand that they're trying to photograph. So I get there and she sets me up. She's like, all right, since it's just your hand, you have to lay on your stomach. Because otherwise, you lay on your back, it just gets your insides. I'm laying on my stomach. She's like, you got to have both your arms forward, like you're Superman. So I do that.
Sounds like a core workout.
Oh, get ready. So puts a pillow there and says, so you can lay your head to the side and lay on the pillow. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then is like, you're going to have to keep your hand super still. So just put my hand on a piece of cardboard and like taped down the fingers and taped down the wrist to try to keep it stable because the machine fucking vibrates. And if you move around too much, it'll all have been for nothing. And I'm at this point, I'm like, perfect. I can do this. I'm just laying here. I got a nice pillow. No biggie. Right before the machine pushes me into the claustrophobic tube, she just says, okay, it's just going to be like 35 minutes. And that is 100% what I heard, but then convinced myself, maybe she said 3 to 5 minutes. She must have said 3 to 5 minutes, not 35 minutes, right? It was 35 minutes. Oh 35 minutes with my arms there, my head to the side, and I'm trying to keep still, but it's, and they make the loudest noises. The machine is like 5 inches away from my face. And I just had to disassociate. I just closed my eyes and left my body and tried to keep as still as possible. Because once, like 10 minutes passed, I was like, she did say 35 minutes, didn't she?
That's that's too bad. Because that's like such a good joke if you're like an MRI like technician. To like send somebody in there and just say, hey, by the way, it's going to be like an hour or whatever, like a super long amount of time would be.
It was miserable.
Why?
Don't recommend it.
It feels like they should just have a machine. If like all you need is your hand to have like a hand-sized machine that you can put in there.
We have different appendages that could just go in a smaller machine.
Yeah.
It would vibrate less. I could sit in a chair.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to invent this. This is our...
Let's get into the medical field, Evan.
Fuck the shirts.
Yeah.
We're putting the shirts aside.
Let's ask our listeners, which would you rather have? Would you rather have podcast shirts, or would you rather us develop MRI machines for various appendages?
The MRI chair.
Yeah,
that's good. Anyways, that's pretty much the whole story. It just sucked, and it cost $750, and it's gonna take 2 weeks to get results. Not because it takes that long to develop, because it takes that long for a technician to get around to looking at it and seeing what's happening with my thumb. Terrible.
Yeah. That is too bad.
Thanks. Is it time to get back to bugs? Back to bugs 6?
Back to bugs. Yeah. Back to bugs. Back to reality.
Back to bugs, more like back in action, right?
Yeah, because that was that Looney Tunes movie. I caught it real quick.
Bugs, the whale.
Yep.
The rest.
And the rest.
I already told you this, but to update the audience,
I think Brendan Fraser should go back and like CGI himself into every one of his past roles, but in the
yeah,
whale suit.
that'd be great.
So the Mummy, he's got to run through the pyramids. Looney Tunes back in action.
Every time his character stands up, it's the end of the whale. That'd be pretty good. Pretty good. I already told you this. I sent you the photo, but to update the old audience on my Devil's Coach horse beetle story.
Yes.
Once home, I did some laundry for my girlfriend and I. And when I was putting clothes into the dryer, the corpse of a Devil's Coach horse beetle fell out of our clothes. And I'm so upset. We brought them back. Nightmares.
Yeah. I mean, at least it was dead, you know?
Yeah. Then now I know it can be killed.
That's true. Yeah. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
But
and if it's dead, we can definitely have killed it.
we can have.
We can have killed it.
If it's
we can
dead,
take
we
credit
can have
for
killed
it.
Yeah. The thing, and it's like this is Beatles. You know, I'm a Beatles fan.
This is Beatles.
I love the Beatles, but these types of Beatles, they got that hard exoskeleton.
Which of the boys from Liverpool do you think most closely resembles, either in appearance or in personality, the Devil's Coach horse beetle?
That's got to be John. John's the
John
Devil's
all the
Coach
way.
horse
Okay.
beetle. A little problematic. Could be a bit of a dick. A little abusive. But he was everywhere. If you're a Beatles fan, you can't avoid him. He's the guy.
Yeah.
He's cool. If you put aside all the terrible shit, he's cool as fuck. If I put aside everything I hate about the Devil's Coach horse beetle, that's a cool fucking beetle. That's a pretty cool bug. Yeah, I think that's a solid. Yeah, love it. But they got that hard exoskeleton. When I shook out the clothes and put it in the dryer and it fell, it made the ground in like a lot of laundry rooms. I've noticed cement floor. And it hits that and it goes like it makes a sound. I hate it.
When the bodies hit the floor.
When the bodies hit the floor. When it comes to Beatles, I say let the bodies hit the floor.
Here's another thing that we should do right after we finish making our MRI. But a cover of Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, but in the style of the Beatles.
I could just be Let the Beatles hit the floor.
Beatles hit the floor.
Meet the Beatles hit the floor? Meet the Beatles. Did it. This is my new game. Yeah, quality. Love it.
In the previous episode you discussed ants being under your bed.
Yeah.
Getting to those box of suckers.
Yeah, that I didn't sell.
I had a similar bugs under the bed story.
Whoa.
When I was a kid, I was big into like cartooning.
Same.
And so I would draw like a bunch of like cartoons, and I'd get like big poster boards and do like a big drawing.
We would have got along.
Yeah. I feel like I can't call it like I was big into art. Like I feel like I have to do a qualifier on it because of how pretentious the art world is. But I would do these various cartoons, and they'd be on these big poster boards. But then it's like, where do you store a bunch of poster boards?
Yeah.
Hey, right under the bed, baby.
Absolutely.
And so I was stacking them up because I was like, I got all these ideas in my head. I gotta put them onto the poster board. And so I had a bunch of them, and they were all under the bed. And then I don't know if I took them out to look at one of them or if I was putting a new one under the bed and noticed this. But there's a big hole in the center of all of the poster boards, stacked on top of each other. There's this giant hole. So I take them out from under the bed and I tell my parents, and they're like, "Oh shoot, these are termites that have gotten into the house, up through the carpet, I guess, and then through the and then to eat all the poster boards."
Holy shit!
Yeah. So now I don't
draw anymore.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I hadn't really put together that was an event that was towards the end of my drawing time, but that may be part of it.
Art is a fallacy.
Yeah.
Bugs are God.
You think that you accept that as a person, I can't be here forever, but certainly my art can.
Yes.
And the bug god said, "I don't think so."
Have
you experienced anything with termites at all? That's a complete type of bug we didn't even talk about in part 1.
This is why
therefore justifying part 2.
It's about termites. Gotcha. I've had a lot of interactions with termites. I feel maybe I'm wrong. I feel like that, I assume, was in Arizona.
Correct.
Because they were very common in Washington, the area there that I grew up in. I don't feel like I've seen any termites since I've lived in California. Maybe I don't know, crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, termites used to be everywhere. I feel like, I don't know if it was just the type of trees in the woods around where I was growing up, but it was a constant summer, one of those summertime bugs, summertime termite attack, and I never liked them. They're bad. They eat houses.
Yeah, it's true. They are bad.
They're bad. They eat houses. These are the reasons I don't care for them.
I got
termite?
A question.
Termite not, actually. On second thought.
Termite not.
Termite. Termite do something else.
I got a question for you. Since you are a dog owner.
I am.
Does your dog like to eat bugs? Or is your dog afraid of bugs or keeps their distance?
Oh, but that brings up another. Yeah, dogs and bugs are interesting. Because some dogs will just digging the ground and eat
scoop
bugs.
Them up, yeah.
No, I wonder, because both of my dogs I've had as a person, as an adult, not my family dogs, have been smaller dogs. I wonder if smaller dogs are less likely to eat bugs because bugs look so big. They look so much bigger when you're not a golden retriever or a mastiff,
Well, this must have been, this doesn't feel like it was that long ago. So it was post college, but I was back in Arizona for something, and I was the only one home. So it was me and our family dog, which is a mid-sized dog.
Sure.
Maybe on the small end of a big dog. I'm not sure what exact classification to put her in.
What kind of face?
What kind of face?
What kind of face did it have?
I don't know how to answer that.
Standard dog face, long nose.
Long nose, yeah.
Long ears.
Yeah, long-ish.
Floppy?
I mean, yeah, floppy.
It's like 20 questions to figure out what kind of dog you grew up with.
It's instead of just asking me what dog breed it is.
You said you didn't know.
Well, she's small for her
breed
species. Yeah, breed. Yeah. I couldn't pull the word breed.
For species. For a dog.
For a dog, she's small, but I think she might be in the big category.
Okay.
But no, so she's mixed with something else, we think. But is most similar to a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
I've heard of these.
And everybody goes, I thought that was the dragon in Harry Potter.
Clever.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, it was just me and the dog were home, and I noticed there was like a trail of ants coming through like one of the windows and towards the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a lot of ants. And I'm barefoot. So I've got to figure out a way to take care of them. And I was like, let's see if the dog will help me out here. So I like kind of led her over and was like,
look at
see?
this.
See? And she wanted nothing to do with them. So it was not as helpful as I had hoped, but also like, it's probably good that she doesn't get a taste for bugs.
It's not interested in eating like 200 ants in a line.
Yeah.
That would be kind of funny to watch.
Yeah. Or just like sit at the like front of the line as they just march over, just stick the tongue out, bring them in.
I like that. And I'll get to we'll talk about this a little more in my plug today. But
great.
We mentioned spiders last week, and I did say spiders aren't technically bugs. They're their own thing. They're arachnids. Yeah. Who gives a fuck? They're bugs. They're gross. If you're gross out there, you're a bug too. That's how I categorize them. Yeah. Don't be gross. I won't call you a bug.
That's the deal.
That's the deal. Maybe I told this forever ago, but I was dog sitting as a teenager in my teen years. A family friend was like, they were going on vacation, so they were all out of town, and I was staying at their house to watch the dog and just like upkeep the house, water the plants, stuff like that. And I was sitting on their computer, and I turned around. This dog was like a golden retriever mix, but like very golden retriever looking, fluffy blonde dog, decently large. And I turn around at a certain point because the dog is just like froze, and there's a massive spider, like one of those you see that is like, oh, that's scary. That's not. I don't like spiders in general, but I'll see a small spider and be like, "Ah, oh, damn it! There's a spider. I gotta either ignore it or do something about it." But sometimes you see a spider that's just like, "Oh fuck,
yeah,
that can't live. That can't be here. That's not. I'm moving out. Burn the place." This spider is like, it's definitely not the size of a tarantula. It's not as big as my hand, but I'd say about there, like the size of my full palm. Bad news.
Yeah, and that's too big.
Spider's on the floor. Dog is on the floor. Dog is bigger than the spider. They are staring each other down. A full-on Animal Kingdom stare down. To the point, dog standing there, lifts one of their front legs. Spider rears up. Never seen this happen before. Spider
and draws its pistol.
Basically, it like lifted all its front legs up and was like making itself big. And I was like frozen. Like, am I the only one scared here? We're all scared, right? And the dog with his hand up just goes and just smushes it.
Oh, hell
Immediately, so fast. Just like, boop.
Love that.
Dead. it ruled. Like,
must
go
love
girl.
dogs after that. Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful dog. I was so glad to not have to, because the it's worse than having to, like, oh, I have to catch a spider or kill a spider. Is like attempting to do either, and you lose it. It's like, well, that's
not
just
sleeping
there
anymore
now. I don't know. Like when I was a kid, that if that happened, I would sleep on the couch. I wouldn't sleep in my bedroom that night. I'm like, I'm not sharing. It's his room now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spider Central.
Yeah, that's something we didn't really touch on, is like, just even if it's not a spider, but like any sort of bug that you like see but don't catch and or kill. And now it is just, it's the like end of Halloween. The Michael Myers could be anywhere. It is looking around.
Turn your back on it for a sec.
Yeah. I don't like that feeling. I'll turn the whole room upside down in order to find it if I can.
Yeah,
because I just want closure.
Exactly. No, it's definitely, especially since my massive infestation. It's like you'd see a cockroach in like a whatever closet or a cabinet or whatever, and it just like goes behind and disappears. You're like, no, that's not okay.
Yeah.
what do I do? I hate it. It's I'm just not a fan. Is that crazy to say? I'm not a fan of bugs.
No, that's not crazy.
Thank God.
This past weekend, we went up to Big Bear to visit my fiance's friend. To visit the Big Bear, the titular Big Bear. But so we go up to Big Bear. They've got a house up there, and then they've got like a nice yard that they've like put in some like patio area. They've got a fire pit, a bunch of furniture. They've got some string lights like strung up between the trees. Nice. Super nice area. And we get up there in the afternoon, and we're talking about their like backyard setup, and her friend is like, "Oh yeah, I have bug spray here if anybody needs it." There don't really seem to be any bugs out at this point, so we don't put it on. And she's like, "Yeah, it comes out that the when the sun goes down, there will be a lot of like moths, and that's like the most like common bug that they have over by their place, and that her husband is afraid of the moths. It does not like them. And moths are like, they're kind of gross, but they're not like, they don't bother me. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want them to be in my house, but
I weirdly
I see them outside and I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm almost the opposite, where I'm like, I don't.
You want them in the house?
I don't think they're gross, but I do not like them at all. I don't want them around. I don't like them at all. So maybe they are gross. I don't know. They're weird.
But it like that. It's one of those bugs that, like, of all the bugs, like that's not the one I would be the most fearful of personally. But the sun goes down, and we're all still out there on the fire pit, and some moths start showing up.
Yeah,
and they're like so disoriented, I think, because of the string lights and the fire pit. So they're like almost like dive bombing as they swarm around.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can see now how like this can be a lot.
Yeah.
But then the biggest moth that I've like ever seen in my entire life,
Mothra.
Like probably, to go back again, it's like probably close to like my palm size. Starts joining in too, and it's like at this point I'm like, I'm not afraid necessarily, but I'm keeping my eye on this gigantic moth.
This big nasty freak.
this big nasty freak. I got all eyes on this big nasty freak.
Gotta, absolutely.
And it at one point like lands on and like stays on my fiance's arm. She had her sweater on, so it wasn't like on her skin, but on the sleeve there. I'm like, no, thank you.
No,
it's time to go inside.
Yeah.
This is the moth's fire pit now.
We're like. Similarly to that, like, who doesn't love a butterfly? They're beautiful to look at. You love seeing them fly around. But if a butterfly lands on me, or I get like a close look at what butterflies actually look like, they're gross. Yeah. I don't like them. They freak me out. It's the multiple legs, it's the antennae, it's the eyes. I don't. Their whole thing. It's not for me.
It's not. It doesn't pass the friggin' vibe check, my guy.
No, it doesn't. And just general relation to the podcast, or maybe I said it in the last episode. I don't know. I haven't finished editing it. But like, it is embarrassing. Doug, I know we said like, oh yeah, it's embarrassing. But it's like, oh, you're afraid of a bee, and everyone's like, oh no, bee. But like, it's embarrassing to say like, no, yes. If I'm being 100% honest, like. All bugs in the world really gross me out. I'm weirdly sensitive to just the existence of bugs. I know a lot of them are good and they do good things, but I don't like seeing them. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I hate it. It's I don't know. I almost really like whether people say it's a real thing or not. The whole triskaidekaphobia thing, where you're like, oh, the multiple holes, like a hornet's nest or anything like that. Freaks me out. Gives me a bad feeling, and that's the same vibe I get from. It's just the multiple legs, it's the multiple eyes, it's the shit. So, I don't know. Eep, I say.
Do you have anything else to discuss about bugs?
I certainly do. You better fucking believe it. Two things. One, update, because I did edit this part of last week's episode. Talking about Bumblebee.
Got it. I thought you were going to have names of Transformers mixed with pasta.
I forgot to. We were going to make a bunch. I didn't do any.
I didn't either, but that'll segue into our quiz.
Perfect. We were talking about. I said bumblebees couldn't sting, and you're like, why do? If that's true. Why is that all I hear about Bumble? Or why is that what the general public sees a bumblebee as? And here's what I found. I was partially incorrect. But the bee we're both thinking of is honeybees. Honeybees are the ones that look like a standard bee with a clear stinger, but they're not wasps or hornets or carpenter bees or any of that shit. Those are they're called honeybees. And people get honeybees and bumblebees mixed up all the time. Honeybees they work as a group. They're the ones with the hives outside. And so you always see them together. They'll sting you as a group. And they are the type that sting once and they die. Basically every bee you generally see. Bumblebees, male bumblebees can't sting. But females can sting and don't die after stinging. They can sting as much as they fucking want.
Hell yeah, dude.
But they are independent. So bumblebees are always by themselves. So they're the ones that are... And this is all good info to know for people that don't like getting stung by bees, which is most people. Female... It's hard to tell the difference between them, but male bumblebees are the ones I'm talking about. The big fatty fuzzballs. And female bees look similar, but they're a little more slender. Slimmed down a bit. And they're all independent, so it's only going to be stinging you as a defense mechanism. So those are the ones just like, regardless, just leave a bumblebee alone. If it's big and fuzzy, let it be buzzy.
That's a great advice.
If it's short, if it's like non-fuzzy and stingy looking, get the fuck out of there. that thing's a jerk.
That one doesn't rhyme.
It will just attack. Well, I'm not done. The rhyme comes at the end.
Oh, okay.
And the word I'm rhyming with was stingy. So just wait for it. We'll get there.
I thought looking was the word you were rhyming with.
Sure, that's better. Looking.
Because it was like
stingy
you
looking.
said if it was thin and stingy
looking, get out of there because they'll sting you.
The rock is cooking.
They'll sting you. They'll die. You could die if you're allergic. And the rock is cooking.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I'm sure there's some like poetry competitions you can submit to.
I thought that was all very interesting.
Structure.
The only other there was. I wrote down corn worms. You ever found a worm in your corn? That sucks. Worms aren't really bugs,
that sucks.
Check this out. When you go to a grocery store and you get a corn on the cob, just look at the tip of it. You know, like right where you husk. What's the word I'm looking for? Shuck.
Yeah, the husk.
Right? The top of where you grab it when you shuck. Once ye have shucked, then the tip of the actual corn, and
if
it gets
there's a
like,
worm, then thou art fucked.
It gets kind of like white, and there's little like holes in there. There can be worms in those holes, and I've bought corn and brought it home. I've had it happen to me multiple times. Check y'all's corn.
That blows.
It's awful. I don't think worms are.
I guess the few times that I've bought corn, I buy the like pre.
Oh, you gotta buy more corn. Yeah, you've never had a worm in your corn. Oh, you simply must.
Yeah, no thanks.
But the only other thing I did tease in the last episode, I was going to talk about the ladybug in my ear, and maybe I already did tell that story, but it was at a family friend's house, and that was I'd never seen it, so maybe. I don't know. Normally you see a ladybug, it's by itself. This was like a swarm of ladybugs. So maybe they're not ladybugs. Maybe they're a different type of ladybugs. I don't know. I'll look into that and bring more bug facts. I was going to say tomorrow. I'm putting out a bonus episode tomorrow about ladybug facts. But there was a swarm of ladybugs. And if I hadn't gotten like caught in the middle, like, oh, there's ladybugs all around my head, I don't think would have even occurred to me. In fact, it didn't occur to me. It wouldn't have occurred to me later, I guess is what I'm saying. But I just like had kind of lost some hearing in my right ear for a while, and I could feel something in there, like it itched. And I would put my finger in and try to scratch it, and it just wasn't working. And clearly I stuffed it in deeper because there was a ladybug stuck in my ear canal for months. And then it fell out dead. That's awful.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always kind of considered you like a human corn on the cob, so I guess it makes sense that there were bugs inside of you, but...
Shuck me! Shuck me and look out for worms! And then we can get to this quiz. I'll just say I also once saw a small fly fly up my sister's nose and come out of her eyeball. Back to you. And that was probably very awkward for her. I'm not going to say which one, so no one knows. You don't get too embarrassed. But it was gross.
So gross. I want to apologize to the listeners again formally
for me
that we did not follow through on pasta transformers. Big fail. It's also just like, I mean, that's it's like such a funny idea, but like the one or two that are good we already came up with, and then it's like you either have to get obscure transformers or like obscure pastas. And it just isn't as fun. But I do want to apologize, and that leads us into our quiz.
Great.
This is unfortunately a BuzzFeed quiz, but
Oh boy.
we've taken the love language quiz. We each found out what our love languages were. And this quiz is for every love language, there's an apology language. Now, which one is yours?
Great.
So I've sent this to you as well, Evan, since we ended up with different love languages.
Yes.
We may end up with different apology languages.
Yes, never forget, kisses are your praise.
We'll see. We've had issues with BuzzFeed quizzes functioning properly in the past, so we'll see how this goes today. But the first question, first things first. Which of these do you consider to be your love language? Words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, or gifts? Those two got lumped together. Or physical touch. Yeah. Do you remember what yours was, Evan?
Mine were words of affirmation and acts of service, but definitely words of affirmation above acts of service. So I will be picking that. Tell me you love me.
Mine was
Shuck
quality time.
Shuck me, daddy.
That's the shirt.
just a
little corn on the cob with like their little hand up like this.
Naughty corn. Oh boy. Question 2. What is your must-have when someone apologizes to you? I love this question. Acknowledgement of their wrongdoings, a true attempt to understand your feelings, when they can recognize what drove them to hurt you. I would word that differently. Recognizing what drove them to hurt you, or genuine authenticity. Intriguing.
I guess genuine authenticity.
That's a big one.
Because you can acknowledge your wrongdoings, but still be like, I do it again, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say genuine authenticity on this.
I'm going to... Let me give that one... I think I'm going to say a true attempt to understand your feelings goes a long way. Because that's just like the heart of arguments, is misunderstanding each other. Most people don't mean the things they say. I think, that's where I'm going.
And how about something that ruins an apology for you?
Ooh.
When they're oblivious to the real issue, bribes or other ways to get out of it, excuses, or when they pull out the old "I'm sorry if..."
For me, it's definitely number one. Same, going back to my previous answer, it's when they're oblivious to the real issue. If you don't get why I'm upset, your apology doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm going to also say when they're oblivious to the real issue.
Hell yeah. Choose a popular apology song. Okay, yeah, these are okay. Hello by Adele, which I guess I've never listened to the lyrics of that song. If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher, Back to December by Taylor Swift, or Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word by Elton John.
I think I might go If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher.
It's a good one.
But Hello by Adele is a close second, I think.
Yeah.
Hello by Adele is like, I like just like the big like chorus moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think part of why I like it is because I also, every time I hear it, I think of that SNL Thanksgiving sketch. but I think I'm going to stick with If I Could Turn Back Time.
Okay. I also like what immediately pops out is If I Could Turn Back Time. Because you want to talk about a fucking chorus. That goes hard. Now I need to listen to something really quick. Yeah. Okay. So my answer is, and it sounds backwards, is Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word by Elton John. And I knew it when I saw it, but because of If I Could Turn Back Time being such a big banger, I couldn't even think of how that song goes. But I'm like, I know I like that song, but I was bothered. Like, if I can't remember how it goes, how much do I like it? But I listened to it really quick while I was stumbling there talking. I'm like, yes, that one. I do like that song. And that's a very clear non-apology, but an attempt at an apology. I think that's lovely. Boy.
What's your usual coping mechanism? Absorbing media that relates to your situation, focusing on a task or beloved hobby, venting about the situation to yourself or to others, or ignoring the circumstances and moving on.
Venting.
Yeah, 100% for me as well. That's an easy one.
I would like to assume everyone that has a podcast's answer would be venting about the situation to yourself and others.
Yeah.
What is your dominant emotion right now? Joy, sadness, anger, or fear?
Oh man, this is tough.
This is going to weigh a lot on how much you enjoy the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what was it before we started recording and what will it be immediately after we finish?
Yeah.
Is a different answer than what it is right now. So I guess I'm going to say joy.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be joy. I was feeling pretty good earlier. Yeah, I'm full of joy today.
What do you think is your personal weakness in a relationship? You're easily annoyed, you struggle with communication, you find it difficult to read emotions, or you're overly forgetful.
I'm easily annoyed.
Yeah, I hate that. Unfortunately, that's my answer as well.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a good communicator. I am very forgetful, but it's not a.
I wouldn't quite put myself in overly forgetful yet. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like the thing. I have a very good memory for general relationship stuff and stuff about my girlfriend. It's just something that is nothing can happen, and I'll be like, that's annoying. I'm annoyed. What do we do about this? How do you handle criticism? I don't like this question. I spend time.
Sounds like we know the answer.
Yeah,
for you.
Exactly. I spend time trying to decide whether or not it's true. I tend to take it personally. I use it to my advantage and better myself, or it barely affects me, which is my answer. It's nothing.
I don't know if any of these is truly the way that I handle criticism, but the closest is I tend to take it personally.
Yeah, I recently went back to seeing a therapist, and that was a big part of what I was talking about. It's like, why can't I hear, like, even like innocent things people will say can sound like criticism to me. Like, I just hear everything personally. It's bad. It's a bad habit.
You've just missed a close friend's birthday party. How do you make it up to them? Surprise them with the best birthday present ever. Apologize and hope they will forgive you with time. Acknowledge how important it was to them and explain how bad you feel. Actively convey that it was your fault and promise to never let it happen again.
I feel like this needs more context.
Yeah, like how old are we?
A, how old are we? B, what do you mean by missed? Intentionally missed? Told them ahead of time I wasn't going and then it passed, or forgot? Because all these answers seem like they're referring to you forgot that you were supposed to attend the close friend's birthday party. Which
that's true, yeah.
Yes, is how I'm going to answer it. Because that would be the thing it's about apologies. If it was just you told them a month ago you couldn't go.
I'm on vacation that week.
These would all be insane answers.
Yeah. I promise to never go on vacation again.
So if I forgot, but I don't have a lot of friends throwing parties lately. I guess if you threw a birthday party, we'll say that. We'll just say it for each other. You threw a birthday party. I said I could go, and then I didn't show up and completely forgot about it. It does feel bad to think about that.
Yeah, for sure. I think my answer. Okay.
Sorry. I think I'm top right. I think it's just apologize and hope they'll forgive you. But
that's correct.
I would.
Correct. It's our opinion.
That's right.
That's also what my answer is.
Your answers are correct. And when we deviate, I'm wrong. No, but I don't feel like I would need to acknowledge how important it was to you, but I would be explaining how bad I feel. I'm overly apologetic.
And I don't want to put too much pressure on the quote unquote the best birthday present ever. Like, good luck.
I would get you a DVD from the bargain barrel. Now, the greatest of all podcast questions. Finally, what do you see in this ink blot?
Now we do. I haven't scrolled down yet. I've been trying to avoid it.
So I won't scroll down either.
But because we do have video, as a reminder on YouTube, you'll be able to see this ink blot if you want to take a gander, or if you wanted to go to BuzzFeed and find this apology quiz, you could do that too.
Do it yourself.
And you may get an idea of what it could look like based on the answers, but I'm going to now scroll down and look at this ink blot for the first time.
Okay. I've been looking at the ink blot. I saw it, and I have my answer. I have not read the multiple choice, but now I'll scroll down to that.
All right. Okay. Oh, interesting.
That's what I thought too. My answer is something not listed here, but the multiple choice options for what you could see in that ink blot are 2 penguins, a wild boar or monster, a dragon, a giant or demonic figure. We're really they're trying to squeeze monster into a tight category, I think. Or something not listed here. So do you see penguins, monsters, or something else? Something not listed here. I see something very specific, but I want to hear you first.
I feel like I see and it doesn't really look like this the closer you look at it, but my first instinct was frog.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I do, looking at it, I do closer. I do see both the 2 penguins and the dragon interpretations.
Yeah, I can see bird-like thing. To me, it just looks very I think I have and maybe that says something about me, a very boring clinical answer, but to me it looks exactly just
looks like a lot of spilled ink to me.
The first thing I saw was a mess, and I want to clean it up. No, I see a spine and hip bones, it's just a hip of a skeleton.
Oh, you just see a pelvic skull.
A pelvic, yes. No. I see a pelvic bone.
A pelvic skull is absolutely not what I meant to say.
I let it go. But yes, I see. I like calling any bones skulls.
Yeah.
I've been having an issue with my thumb skull.
Yeah, you had an MRI for your thumb skull.
Yes, a pelvic bone and hips. I don't know. That's just what it looks to me. That's a spine. I see a C4 at the top. Trying to learn anything from my chiropractor.
I guess we'll go with something not listed here.
That's what I
And then
said.
we'll see if we have different types of apology.
Okay, I'm not looking
languages.
at yours. I've got mine. Ooh,
I have mine.
Hit read more. There. Okay.
I have to hit read more as well. Wow, it showed me one extra word.
Mine too.
Maybe we have the same thing then, because I have expressing regret.
Okay.
This apology language is the expressions of personal remorse toward your wrongdoings. This one is pretty standard, often led by a simple, I'm sorry. But even those two words on their own can make a world of difference.
Okay. So it's saying you just want someone to essentially acknowledge it and say, I'm sorry.
Acknowledge me, yeah.
Mine is different.
Woo!
I got requesting forgiveness. This apology language shifts the emotional burden and emotional power onto the person who was wronged. It's as simple as asking for forgiveness in order to find peace and or closure with whatever situation you may have put yourself in. So I guess I just want to hear that. I want to hear that the other person...
You want the power.
I want the power. I want to hear that the other person is remorseful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, baby. Well, we did it. Well, we did it. We found our way to the end of this test.
Bugs Part 2.
Oh, the Bugs Part 2. Yes, the Beatles, etc. The termites. What accent is this? It started one place. It started Oppenheimer and it turned Barbie. Thank you for listening to this podcast. We love you, our little eavesdroppers. Tell all your friends about it. Do all this stuff, please. We love it. Send us emails. We'll get to that. I started that early. You can listen.
The best part.
One of these weeks, yeah, I'm just gonna do it completely out of order and see how it goes. That's the last quiz. We'll throw Twitter back in there. Oh, shit.
Oh no.
Threads. We're not on Threads. Don't get your fucking hopes up. We're not on Blue Sky. We're not on Threads, and we have no intention of it yet. We might get there.
We barely want to be on the ones we're on.
It's true. But you can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Amazon Music, Podbean, Pocket Casts, anything but Stitcher, apparently, which go bye-bye. Leave us reviews, leave us ratings, give us 5 stars, or give us 4 stars. If you hate it, give us a 4-star. Just say...
Let us know if you want to shuck Evan.
Shuck me! 5 stars. Shucked. Get
add
shucked.
It to the t-shirt list.
You can also interact with us, and we love it when that happens. You can find us on social media. Believe it or not, in this year of 2023,
whoa,
we're on Instagram at HowDoWeHuman.
We got that handle.
We're on Facebook, also at HowDoWeHuman.
If we could get that handle.
I like it. We're on YouTube. That we do full video episodes now. And that is the handle is at HowDoWeHuman.
Handle. It's ours.
What is that?
That was hello, it's me.
Okay, it's I thought it was
Adele.
hello. The it's ours confused me.
Ours is a weird like substitute for me. Like the syllables don't quite line
and that URL just because they still haven't really made sense out of what the handles are on YouTube. The URL is youtube.com/ what is it? /@
HowDoWeHuman.
/ not ampersand. I almost said it again. Woo, baby, we're cooking today. You can also leave us an email, and we'd love it if you did. That email is howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an email.
Wow! Chris!
Yes.
What do you got going on?
I want to I'm concerned that my dream job of screenwriting is going to be replaced by artificial intelligence run by talentless hacks.
Sure.
And I'm trying to figure out how can I still get into the entertainment industry then. And I have decided that what I want to do is get a job with any of the studios, and then when reporters call up asking for those entertainment scoops, trying to figure out who's in the movie, what character are they playing, all that stuff that ruins your enjoyment of it as the production moves along.
Absolutely.
So that by the time you get into the theater, you're just sitting there waiting to see what Deadline or the Hollywood Reporter or
were they right?
Websites that are considerably worse than those. Were they right? What's going on? I want to be the person that answers all of those calls, and I think I want to have like either a wheel or like a little bingo machine.
Yeah.
And during the call, I decide like I've got the real scoop and then a bunch of fake ones, and whichever one it lands on, I give them that one.
Yeah.
And that way, if, every now and then it'll be right. So you have to keep trusting me. But sometimes I'm going to be giving you absolute nonsense and seeing if you'll print it.
That'd be great.
Pushing journalistic integrity.
I love that.
I love when scoops are wrong. It makes me so happy when
it's very funny.
When entertainment reporters go on like this big, like, I got the exclusive, and then it's wrong, and they're like, it's not my fault. It is.
That's the scoop I got. That's what I heard. I heard Bobby was being played by Robert De Niro. New father. A pair of new fathers, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Bobby. Together on each other's shoulders in a large trench coat.
This whole toy company's out of order.
You talking to me?
You making Barbies of me?
The whole movie, Robert De Niro's the bottom underneath the trench coat saying, you talking to me?
You talking to me?
You talking to me? No. You talking to me?
You talking to me?
I don't see anyone else here.
But you just... I'll say your name when I'm talking to you, okay? Evan?
Okay. Yes.
I have nipples, Barbie. Could you make me? What do you got going on?
Nipples Oppenheimer. Okay. Yes, I do.
You heard it here first, everybody. Yeah. Collider.com. Oppenheimer is set to milk Robert De Niro in the climax of Christopher Nolan's latest feature.
I'd be so uncomfortable in the climax of that movie. What a weird thing to do.
Well, it's time so that once the milk is released, that's when the bomb explosion goes off. So it's artistic. Yeah. It's these two storylines converging at the same moment.
And they don't necessarily show the milk coming out, but when the bomb goes off, the only sound they use is bloop. See, this is the type
Bloop and a slight moan.
This is all right. Yes, I am doing something.
You teased it earlier in the episode.
I did.
We're all very excited.
Spiders. People say they're not bugs.
Yeah.
Tomatoes. People say they're not vegetables. They're fruit.
True.
Pluto. People say it's not a planet anymore.
Yeah.
This is all horseshit. Let's keep things simple. Spiders are bugs. Tomatoes are vegetables. Pluto's a planet. It's a foundation I'm starting just to reset so that the entire world has to be exactly like it was when I was in the second grade.
Okay. I like it.
Wasn't that when we were all happy?
Yeah. When we all ate a lot more grain because that was the biggest part of the food pyramid.
Lunchables? You heard of them? I'm talking about the spiders are bugs, tomatoes are vegetables, and Pluto is a planet foundation, also known as Sab Tav Pap.
I like it.
Thank you. We're taking donations because we got to get the word out there. Make America like it was when Evan was in second grade.
Who was president?
Was president when I was in second grade. Hey, here's where I fall apart. My entire life I base off of age. I don't know how old people are at any grade, except high school, because that's when I started thinking about it. How old are you in second grade? 10?
I don't know. I know that it would have been GWB when I was in second grade. But
how old is a second grader? Goes this questionable Google search. Between 7 and 8 years old. So that would have been about 95. So Clinton.
All right, let's get
that was worth
back in the White House.
That was worth finding out.
Yeah.
Instead of just ending this episode. Well, we're already at an hour 14, you know.
Do you feel like the Smartless guys stole our okay bye kind of outro?
Here's the thing. I think we've always just said okay bye. And then they've been doing the kind of puns with like
pun, yeah.
And since
we've
both
done
now
puns
listen
a
to
couple times.
Smartless, I think we're both exclusively ending with puns. So
I don't know. I think that we did. I'm
sure we
puns early on, but I think it was more with the okay than with the bye.
I'm sure we started it.
And to be fair, we started saying okay bye probably because that's what Scott Aukerman says at the end of
that. Is 100%. I'm sure where that came from. Yeah, if anyone ever
okay bye
why we say okay bye.